I want to discuss something that may be a little controversial, to say the least. And maybe to everybody it won't be, and that's okay. But for those who will have an issue with what I'm about to say, buckle up. So, one of the things that I find hilarious is anytime I hear a Christian go off and say, I don't pray to the universe. You got people out here saying they pray to the universe. The universe can't hear you. The universe is just empty space and da-da-da. It's not a thing. And I have to stand back because in those moments, they're truly showing how ignorant they are of the world. And I'm not calling them ignorant, right? Not disrespectfully. What I'm saying is they don't know what they don't know. In their life and in their experience, and I can say this because I've been there, right? If you don't know my story, check out the video I made a couple years ago. I think it's called Losing My Religion or something like that. But I was there, 30 plus years in the church, teaching, preaching, in leadership. I was doing the thing, right? More than doing the thing, I was living the thing. Anybody who knows me will testify to that. Not perfect, never was, never claimed to be. Right? I am not the second coming of the Messiah. Kinda. But that's for a different video. But no, I am not him. But I understand the thought process, right? So I can say this with full confidence when I say that when people say they don't pray to the universe, they pray to the one true and living God, they're seeing things through a very small aperture, right? They can only see what they can see. And to them, what they see is the entirety of existence. They fail to realize that what they can't see exists because they fail to realize that there's another perspective outside of their own. And even if they recognize that there are other perspectives, they argue them down, right? They have their reasons, they have their favorite verses as to why those other perspectives, those other views are typically invalid or a demonic counterfeit or a demonic deception to fool everybody and, make you go to hell. So if you're watching this far, right, you have to be able to expand your perspective for just a few minutes, right? Not forever. Your mind can go back to the same dimensions it was before this video. It's okay. But if you're going to stay here and watch this, open up your mind just a little bit, right? Not to accept what I'm saying is truth, but open up for the possibility of seeing something different without arguing with it. Don't make it right. Don't make it wrong. Just let it be what it is. That's all I ask. So, I think I may have said it already. I forgot. But yeah, no, I pray to the universe. It's a thing. I know, I get it. But I do. I pray to the universe. Now, here's what I mean when I say that. I'm still praying to God, right? But you have to understand that when I'm using these phrases, we have to define who God is, what God is, right? What is prayer? What does it mean to pray to the universe? So the first thing we're gonna deal with is the issue of who I believe God to be, what I believe God to be. Growing up in the church, we're taught that God is a person. God is the king of heaven. God is the king of the universe, the creator of all things, the righteous judge who sits on a holy throne, right? Like the one, right? Nothing above him, right? And of course, there's more to the story, but that's the gist of it, right? God is this personality out there. That's how it's presented. And that's how it's believed. It's believed that we are separated from God by sin, and that we need a mediator, Jesus Christ, in order to reconcile God to man, right? Forgive man for their sins, humanity, and make things right with God so that God can accept us once again. I don't believe all that. Not anymore. No. Because I've come to understand, one, God is a presence and a power, not so much a personality. God has personality, but it's you. It's me, right? Like we are the personality of God because God in itself is the life energy of everything. God is what some philosophers have called the ground of being. It's the foundation out of which everything else comes, right? So when I use the word God, I'm not pointing to a person. I'm not talking about a particular personality or being out somewhere not here, but I'm talking about the eternal, infinite, life-giving presence that infuses everything. Literally, like this table I'm sitting at, the chair I'm sitting in, me, myself, every cell of my being, and even the space between us is filled with nothing but God. It's wild to believe, I know. Some philosophers have said that, we exist in this thinking stuff, and that this thinking stuff, when impressed upon it with thought, forms and molds itself into the image that was thought about. We can basically say that's us thinking and creating, co-creating with God. And not God as a person, God as a power, God as a presence, not a personality, right? So literally everything is made of God. I am made of God. You are made of God. But not only that, God is in me. God, the power, the source of life is in me. And the God, the source of life, is in you too. So if I were to say I am a God, I'm not saying I am this supreme, omniscient, uber powerful being that's come to rule over you, because those are the images we have in our mind of what God is, right? No, what I'm saying is I am an extension of the Creator. I'm an extension of the source of all that is. And you are too. Because we are all the same underneath our spacesuits, right? Beneath the skin color, the jobs, everything that separates us. I put separation in air quotes because, it's not a thing. But again, that's another video for another day. There's nothing that separates us because we're all extensions of the one life. Life just is. And so in this experience, we experience things as a beginning and an end. We experience birth. We will experience death. But that death isn't separation from life. All it is a cessation of this physical experience. But again, more stuff for other videos that we'll deal with later. So, getting back to this idea of praying to the universe, of praying to God, we have to stretch our understanding beyond what we perceive as possible. Because then and only then will we be able to actually experience life beyond what we've personally experienced to this point. So, the next thing I want to discuss is what is prayer. Again, growing up in church, we are taught to pray out loud. We're taught to pray words. Scripture says, approach the throne of grace with boldness so you make your request known unto God, right? And making requests is a part of prayer, right? It is definitely an aspect, but it is not the only thing. For years, right, we would go to prayer meetings on Wednesday nights and we would pray for hours, talking to God collectively and individually, asking God to do this and God help us with that. God save this one. God heal that one, right? All legitimate requests, because there are times we need help. There are times even now when I'll sit back in life and just say, whew, God, I need your help, right? But here's the difference, right? Here is the split. Here's the rift. Praying isn't only about talking to the source. Praying, like true prayer, is about moving in the direction of your answer. Now, you may not get it. Well, let me show you this. Jesus said that if you pray and you don't doubt that you've received it, right? If you pray and you believe you've received a thing, it'll be done for you. Right? Jesus said, if you'll speak to the mountain and tell it to be cast into the sea, nothing will be impossible for you. He said, that mountain will get up and go. So what is he saying? Jesus is saying that we essentially need to become our own answers. Again, it sounds crazy, but just slow down and think about it for a moment. When you truly believe that you have received a thing that you have requested, how do you carry yourself? Do you carry yourself as if you still haven't got it? You Growing up on Sunday mornings, me and my brothers and my cousins, we would all ask my father for $1 so that we could run down to the corner store and buy candy and chips and juice and stuff, right? How would I look if I asked him for $1, he gave it to me, and I stood there still asking for the dollar? Daddy, please. Daddy, may I have $1? Dad, please, just give me $1, Daddy. Daddy, just $1. Daddy, may I have $1, please? He was gonna look at me and say, boy, if you don't get out of here, I already gave you $1. Matter of fact, I gave you 3. Get out of here. That's what it's like when we constantly approach the Creator, asking the Creator to do things for us and through us, and to do all these things in the world. It's like God is sitting back saying, like, yes, I've already done it. It's already done. Now it's your turn. You get up and you go do it now. Right? If when you pray, you believe you have received it, you have. So what gets in the way of that? What gets in the way of us truly believing that we have our answered prayer? Well, it's because we're super stuck on physical reality. And this is something that you don't learn in church. Bear with me. There are multiple levels of density in the universe, right? You'll hear people refer to this world that we exist in as the 3-dimensional world, the 3D, right? You also hear about, 2D or 4D, 5D. Now, I've heard people talk as high as, 14 different dimensions, and there might be more. It might be infinite dimensions. I don't know personally. At least I don't have access to that information cognitively in this moment. But what I can tell you is that there is definitely a 3D world that we exist in, right? Or at least that we operate in this experience, and that there is a world beyond it. And the reason I know that is because there have been masters throughout time in history that have come and told us about the world beyond. With what we're discussing here, that master would be Jesus. That world would be heaven or the spirit realm where God is. But then again, God is everywhere. So I guess heaven is here too. But only what we're privy to in our physical experience is what we're aware of, right? But we can tune in, spiritually speaking, to that world beyond. And it takes that second sight, right? A lot of people talk about your third eye, right? That inner knowing. That's what we need to tap into. That's what you don't learn in Sunday school. Sunday school don't teach you about spiritual sight. But you know what? You know how they put it in church? This is how they put it in church. They say that we walk by faith, not by sight. A lot of us say that, right? A lot of people say that. But how many of us truly know what it means to walk by faith? Because we look around in our lives and we latch on to security at every turn. Every moment we have an opportunity to avoid discomfort, to avoid a little pain, to avoid a stressful situation. That's exactly what we reach for. Very rarely will we leave our comfort zone and do something completely unexpected, like putting our entire life on the line. My mind goes back to the story of Abram, right? God called him and said, hey, get up all your stuff, leave your family and your kindred, and go to a land that I'm going to show you. Could you imagine how that conversation with his wife went? Like, he went to her like, babe, so, I was out today, and Yahweh came to me and was like, we got to move. She looked at him and was like, where we going? He was like, I don't know. I mean, God said he was gonna. He said he was gonna show us. He said he was gonna show me where we was going, and so you coming? Right? Like, that would have been a crazy conversation to be a part of. But how often does Spirit call us out into the unknown and into the unexpected, and we just sit back because it's safe, because it's comfortable, because we know what this is. And we'd much rather deal with an evil that we can see, and we much rather deal with the evil that we know, than deal with the evil that we don't. I get it. I believe it's human. It's human nature. But if we're going to grow and expand in life, bruh, we got to be willing to take some risk. We got to be willing to put our behinds on the line sometimes and just move. Just go with it. Yes, it won't make no sense, but that's what the old saints was talking about, right? That's what the old saints was talking about, like moving by faith. They don't see it. They don't see how it's going to be. But they just know that there's something else out there. There's something else that they've been promised, that they can sense, that they can feel. And they know that Spirit's going to help lead them there. They know that God is going to help lead them there. They know the universe is going to lead them there. And I'll make this point too, real quick. When people refer to the universe as, when they thank the universe, when they speak to the universe, what they're doing, right? And this is for everybody who gets confused and says, oh, the universe isn't sentient. It doesn't even know you're here. Well, that's dumb. What they're saying is the highest conception, right? The grandest conception of the all that is that they can conceive of is idealized, is personified by the known universe. It is the largest, the grandest expression of pure creative power and potential, right? They're not literally saying they're praying to the sun, moon, and stars. Now, there are people who do, more power to you. But then there are those who are simply referring to the universe as the all-encompassing all that is. Because is there anything else other than the universe? It's okay, I'll wait. So let's just make that clear, right? So getting back to our prayer is not only our request, but our prayer then becomes our actions. Our prayer is then moving in the direction of the accomplished, of the received answer. So if there are things that you've been praying for by simply asking God for them, get up and start moving as if it's already done and watch what happens. Take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Right? Get up and go knock some stuff over. If you've been praying for a new client, who are you talking to today? If you've been praying for new business, who are you connecting with? Who are you networking with, right? You have Spirits and gave you all these ideas, and I talked about that in the video before, right? You have all these ideas. You're saying, Lord, help me do such and such, but you ain't taking no action on it, bruh. What's God going to help you with? Sit on and binge on Netflix? You don't need God for that. Just the last thing, right? Understand this, that life is a co-creative endeavor. Life is a creation between you and your creator. You're the creator on the ground. God is the creator in the booth. And when the creator on the booth sees the creator on the ground moving in a certain direction, he sets certain things up. He puts certain meetings in place. Certain resources appear that weren't on the way until that creator on the ground started moving in the direction they were going. Yes, we can conceive. We can pick.